which is High Priest Shia, the truth must be exposed, about how the Israelites went into China and Japan, and he said that was during the time of the Hyksos. Hold up, let me go back to that because it was two separate times. There's no proof of that these 3 or 4 tribes that got together. Speak.
Yeah, and basically, you guys just eat it up because, you like anything that comes out of these guys' mouths, this nonsense, You just accept anything that comes out their mouth because you don't have the filter, the spiritual filter to distinguish, when somebody's is telling the truth and when somebody's lying to you. So you see a guy like this that's good with their words, so you got to watch them guys that are good with their words. And basically what they're doing, they filibustering, just to lie to you, whether it be for money, whether it be for whatever reason it is. Bottom line, because the scriptures speak about this stuff, and it's all throughout the scriptures. The apostles spoke about it. Different great men spoke about it. But, it's only given to the elect. So if you're not part of the elect, you're going to get caught into these guys' web, which is basically what that is a web of lies. This is 1 Timothy 1:4. It says, neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies. Now, the word fables, I believe, is from the word mythos in the Greek. Mythos, which means, it says, a speech, word, saying, a narrative, story, a true narrative, a fiction, a fable, an invention, a falsehood. Because what that crap that he's teaching about hell, that's basically nothing but that's Greek mythology. Those are fables that go back to different empires in history, and they were all teaching the same thing, and just the names of those things changed, and then he left out of the circle. Because he was in the circle at one time. He left out of the circle, and now he's teaching this bugged out wayward philosophies.
Now here in 36 minutes in of part 1, he's speaking about the original Romans were black, which he's right on that. But they were not Israelites. They were Etruscans, which were of the sons of Japhet. Japhet, when you go to Genesis the 10th chapter. Like Romulus and Remus, they were the 2 boys that was suckled by a she-wolf, and they named the city after the one brother named Romulus, because Romulus had rose up and killed his brother, because they were supposed to rule together, as the story goes, and Romulus rose up on Remus and killed him. And then he sat up as the king, as the principal guy. That's what they named Rome after Romulus. Like you see the Senate, these different, these ancient Roman type movies. They wear the togas. They got that from the Etruscans. That's how they wore. They wore the togas, and they had the rosemary leaf branch around their head and all that to make them wise. That's why they had that around their head, to stimulate their brain. Okay? And if you look up, you go to Google and you put in the Etruscans or the original Romans, the Etruscans, and they show you that they're black people wearing togas and all that, and rosemary wreaths around their head. And you can see they have woolly hair and dark skin, dark brown skin, different shades of brown. So he's right on that, But what does that have to do with the gospel? Yeah. He's bringing this out like this is some deep knowledge that he has and nobody else has.
Right. Which, if you really dig, you could find that information. Like I'm looking here, I just Googled.
All you got to do is go to Google.
Yeah, it's worth a Google.
The thing is that you got to bring out a book. See, I got this. Look,
Yeah.
I go to Google, man.
Yeah.
It save my money.
That's right. And you'll see it. I have an article in front of me from Ustream entitled "The World of Sakanoye no Tamuramaro, black shogun of early Japan. All right, this was as a matter of fact, it's by Runoko Rashidi. All right, and they have a Japanese proverb: for a samurai to be brave, he must have a bit of black blood. That's an old Japanese proverb, which shows you, just based upon that proverb, there was a presence of Jake during the Shogun period in Japan. Now, I'm not going to read the whole article. I'm just going to jump around. Here it says the black presence in early Japan. Okay? Like I said, I'm just going to jump around and get to the point. Sakanoye no Tamuramaro, Sei Aitai shogun of early Japan. Of the black people of early Japan, the most picturesque single figure was Sakanoye, a warrior symbolized in Japanese history as he was a straight up so-called Negro. He was a black man, so-called black man. A warrior symbolized in Japanese history as a paragon of military virtues and a man who has captured the attention of some of the most distinguished scholars of 20th century America. All right. Perhaps the first scholar to make note of Tamuramaro was Alexander Francois Chamberlain, which lived from 1865 to 1914. An anthropologist, Chamberlain was born in Kennan Hall, Norfolk, England, and was brought to America as a child. In April 1911, the Journal of Race Development published, now this is in 1911, the Journal of Race Development published an essay by Chamberlain titled The Contribution of the Negro to Human Civilization, while discussing the African presence in early Asia. When it says African, it's talking about so-called Negro, so-called black man. African presence in early Asia, Chamberlain stated in an exceptionally frank and matter of fact manner, and we can cross the whole of Asia and find the Negro again. For when in far off Japan the ancestors of the modern Japanese were making their way northward against the Ainu, the Aborigines of that country, the leader of their armies was Sakanoye, a famous general and a Negro.
Yeah, so you had Jakes that were in China and Japan. Bruce Lee was a Jake, all right? Anyway, I went here to about 39, 40 minutes in, and he's talking about how all the camps hate each other, and there's one camp that hates all the camps. And he made a statement that, you got all those different camps, even though they're not on the level of you, at least they're trying. Most I ain't looking for people to try, man. You got groups out there, the GOCC, which they're about to debate, or one of the so-called elders, Gabar, supposed to debate the fat boy with the no teeth, Imam Bashir, the baby-faced demon. They're going to have a debate today.